morning. I'm Andy Myers at Weiss Research, and this is your morning market update for Wednesday, September 14th. Stocks on Wall Street are following up yesterday's broad-based rally with modest gains this morning. But the advances are not nearly as steep as the futures market had indicated earlier. The latest reading of inflation is somewhat encouraging, but news on the consumer spending front seems to be putting a damper on sentiment. Retail sales were flat in August, as Americans spent more at gas stations and grocery stores, but less on vehicles and auto parts. Excluding the volatile auto segment, retail sales ticked up just 0.1%. Economists had been expecting bigger gains from both numbers. In addition, the readings for June and July sales were revised lower. We do have some relatively positive economic news to tell you about this morning. The August Producer Price Index was unchanged from July, as another decline in energy costs offset an increase in food. Meanwhile, the core PPI, which strips out energy and food prices, rose slightly, marking the 9th straight monthly increase. The numbers were roughly in line with estimates. Over the past year, wholesale prices have climbed 6.5% overall. But core prices, which the Federal Reserve watches more closely to gauge inflation pressures, rose by a more manageable 2.5% pace. Following the data, oil prices are declining further amid continued fears of slowing economic growth and weakening demand. Crude is now trading well below $90 a barrel. Meanwhile, gold prices are holding steady at around $1,825 an ounce, and the dollar is sinking against most of its major rivals in the currency markets. Equities across Europe are surging along with the region's shared currency. This may be a bit of a surprise considering Moody's investor service just downgraded two big French banks, Crédit Agricole and Societe Generale. Moody's also put a negative outlook on both banks, meaning they could be downgraded further. And it said it continues to review the finances of a third French lender, BNP Paribas. Moody's is concerned about the funding and liquidity needs of the banks. However, the one-notch downgrades were not as drastic as some investors had feared. And sentiment is also being boosted by comments from European Commission President José Manuel Barroso. He told the European Parliament that officials will soon present options for the introduction of Eurozone bonds. Many experts have said bonds backed by the full Eurozone are the best chance to stop the sovereign debt crisis. Traders are also keeping their eyes peeled for any progress on Greece's debt situation. The country's prime minister is holding a conference call with French President Nicolas Sarkozy and German Chancellor Angela Merkel to discuss Greece's next bailout. In corporate news, we have a couple new developments on the M&A front. ConAgra Foods set a deadline of September 19th on its latest buyout offer for Ralcorp Holdings. ConAgra has been trying to acquire the packaged goods maker for months and sweetened its bid to $5.2 billion in August. Now, ConAgra says that if Ralcorp still refuses to come to the negotiating table, it will drop the offer. Shares of Ralcorp are tumbling 10% on the news, and ConAgra is down 2%. However, one big stock winner this morning is toy maker Jakks Pacific. It's surging 25% after getting a buyout bid from private investment firm Oaktree Capital Management. The offer is worth $670 million, or $20 a share, a 25% premium over Jakks' closing price yesterday. Oaktree said Jakks' board has so far refused to discuss the bid. And finally, shares of both Dell and Staples are rising about 2%. The boards of both companies authorized stock buyback plans. Dell's worth $5 billion and Staples $1.5 billion. That's the latest from Weiss Research. Have a great trading day.